Okay, I think we're good to go. And once again, everyone, we're the Barnyard voice, so anyone can talk with. Appreciate if everyone is muted. I see that you all are, except Jonio, but it's quite rare. To serve mute you, and that's fine. I can mute you if you'd like to chime in. All right, let's kick off this meeting. As usual, with Beanstalk Manifold. Start with obviously that we have a budget proposal that mentions thing that maybe you can throw it.
Yeah, totally. I'm happy to. Thanks, Maud. So, just kind of kicking off here, BIP 24 is live for voting. So make sure you kind of get out and vote however you see fit. The FDBDV, which has generated a lot of discourse in recent days and weeks, is just about ready for audit. So that's exciting. We also have a special project we're working on as a potential first use case for this new contract, which will hopefully be public soon, and we're pretty excited about, and we think the community also will be. Continuing work on the incubation of this Beanstalk for Business concept as one potential approach to getting businesses and real world assets exposure and further involved within the Beanstalk ecosystem, which we're also excited about. And there's a lot of cool ideas spinning there. And so right now there's kind of a focus on kind of nailing down what the MVP will look like, what the tech stack for the MVP will need to be, and kind of the various rules that will need to be brought on board to hopefully make this a success at launch. And then, as Maud mentioned, there's a new budget BIP that'll be live for voting. And I'm happy to go through that. Let me just pull it up. Give me 1 second here. Cool. So, the request is to mint 100,000 beans for, effectively, continuing to grow the Beanstalk ecosystem. The first kind of bullet here on the key deliverables, as I've kind of outlined them, is launching, another Beanstalk-based company, which is this, Beanstalk for Business concept that I mentioned just earlier. And, that's going to kind of entail like this thorough customer discovery process. We're going to need to bring on banking partners and custody partners. Envision this, kind of being a type of concept where, you might not have the most crypto native users. And we want to make sure, that there's custody solutions in store for people that are business owners that might not be super familiar with crypto, and make sure we build for that. And then making sure we're recruiting the best talent that is capable of executing what's really a big idea in a hyper competitive space. And so the team kind of has to be incredibly competent, in my opinion, for this to really take off the way that we'd want it to. Kind of the next thing is we've been having discussions with actually two different. One approached us, we approached another one with just really fiat on ramps into crypto, and various players that offer self-custody wallet and banking solutions with partnerships like with banks like Evolve, for example. And so, we think that there will be some type of finalization there in the next few weeks, which is exciting. And, just another way for consumers to access the Beanstalk ecosystem and, do cool things with their beans, which is, what it's all about. In terms of root, I know we've started work on this C fork facet to be added to Beanstalk. We haven't really spoke about it too much, as the focus has been on this fungible deposited bean contract, which is now, like I said, ready for audit. But expect to hear more about the C fork facet in the coming weeks as well. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the main pieces of the BIP. I just want to make a general comment. There's a really overarching mandate as I see it for Beansprout, and that's to drive net demand to the Beanstalk ecosystem. And so, in general, we look very favorably on grants and spending that, is not net sell pressure or net, exposure out of Beans, but rather is stayed in Beans for, incentive alignment purposes. And, I think Halborn has been a great example of this with their smart contract security services, making sure that they have skin in the game. And I think that that's a model we want to pursue for all of our vendors. And hopefully, over time, that exposure trends to becoming closer and closer to 100% Bean. And so, I just wanted to mention that. As just for clarity, oftentimes people come to Beansprout and they say, hey, we want 5,000 beans to go do X, but that really entails selling 5,000 beans. And, there are obviously, everything's kind of on a case-by-case basis, but in general, I think, we would rather be issuing grants where the bean exposure is kind of, held on some balance sheet or some for land exposure. So I know that's a lot of questions.
Thank you, Manifold, for the update. And everyone else, if you have any comments, feel free to unmute yourself and just ask it right away. Otherwise, we can move to Beanstalk Farms. Austin, you just sent an announcement highlighting the different BIPs that are currently live. Can we maybe start with you, that you can take us through the current BIPs that are out for voting? And maybe the ones that will or are expected to go live soon?
Sure thing. Thanks, Mod. So with regard to the handful of proposals that are live that Beanstalk Farms proposed, of course, yesterday there was an announcement that went out about the Beanstalk Farms Q4 budget that went live yesterday, as well as the quarterly BFC member term extension. So maybe just to give some context on the latter, in BFP 81, the proposal that the DAO passed to form the BFC and its structure, the idea behind these quarterly term renewals is to, keep each of us on the BFC accountable and give the DAO the opportunity to give each of us feedback on our output over the previous quarter. Now, of course, this time it was just over the past 6 weeks, but in the future it'll be for all of Q4. So this was written in the proposal, but our original BFC proposals had our term ending in Q1 of next year, and for the individual proposals that pass here, the terms will be extended to the end of Q3. So, as mentioned, the Q4 budget also went live. Obviously, there was a lot of great discussion on that over the last few days. Perhaps just to, throw my hat into the ring a little bit and provide some commentary on that. Kind of the thinking around the amount is, based on our current burn, it'd be pretty surprising to spend more than 700 or 800K over the next quarter. And of course, accounting for the beans that roll over from Q3, we'll probably end up having, 1.2 million beans if the budget BIP passes. And so the idea there is, and from my perspective, I think Beanstalk is in a really strong position. And if there's an instance where Beanstalk grows and there's many more, potential high value contributors interesting in contributing to Beanstalk, my position is I don't think it's necessarily time to play defense, but obviously others beg to differ. And, I think there's a lot of good discussion there over the last couple of days. Lastly, on the Beanstalk Farms front, also just announced that the Bug Bounty Program BIP just went live. So had talked about that a little bit over the last few DAO meetings, and would encourage everyone to read the proposal in full. There's quite a few nooks and crannies in terms of what this new Bug Bounty Committee has discretion over, or what Immunefi has discretion over in terms of bug bounty reports that are awarded and not. So happy to hear any feedback on that front and answer any questions about any of those.
Thank you, Austin. And as I said, there has been a few discussions. We've discussed in class. We've been constantly in the channels, and is the case as well. To discuss it here, any of the downs I will do. All right. I can share some marketing updates from my end. So this week we've had two media, let's say, appearances, or we mentioned both. The one is the New York Times, and the other is Blockworks. I'm going to drop the links to those in the Barnyard chat. So this is the New York Times, and this is the Blockworks one. We're pretty excited with that. We've been in, let's say, our communications with journalists have been picking up a little. We hope to continue with that momentum and to see more of those, let's say, appearances out there. All right. Otherwise, we've had 3 new submissions to the community grant since last week. Again, would encourage everyone to make use of the grant. Or if you don't, but know someone who would, then pass it to them, and have them make use of it. Otherwise, we're still working on the video content. We're having a bit of a challenge with the video creation. We had commissioned someone to work on it. We were happy with the demo, but with another submission, not so much. So anyone who has as well done recommend video creators, please send them through to my site. Sarah, Chad, you can updates from your end.
Certainly, yeah. Let me know if I cut out at all. My internet's a little spotty right now, but I'm gonna drop a link in the Barnyard chat to a message I sent on Tuesday, which has a pretty good synopsis of what's going on for everybody. But to give sort of the high level here, so we are wrapping up a number of projects. One is the pod market history page, which has proven to be pretty interesting challenge given how the pod market works and some of the upgrades that we're doing. So having that wrapped up this week. Bean Sama has been hard at work on a number of sort of bug fixes and final wrap up stuff from the initial launch of the site. And so he's got a couple of those PRs staged and ready to go. I think one other thing we haven't talked much about, but kind of fun thing that we'll be adding is updating the theme of the website as well. So Sweet Red Beans has had a fall theme commissioned, which we'll be updating hopefully by the end of today, but may end up being tomorrow. And then beyond that, I've outlined this sort of in this message, but a number of other projects going on kind of across the board, both on the contract side and on the front end side. So we continue to make progress on things like the pod market and other things, but right now waiting for the audits to go through on the contract side, and then just continuing to try to figure out what the right UI UX is for those sorts of things. So happy to discuss any of those.
Thank you, Chad. Sweet Red Beans, did you want to continue from there?
Yeah. So, have been spending a bunch of time on this balances page. Have finished kind of the refactor, and so it's going to be kind of interesting. I think it's going to be we're introducing some new features. It's kind of supposed to be more a useful kind of aggregate view of your position in Beanstalk. So you should be able to kind of see your deposited balances, your rewards, the debt that you hold, the stock and seeds that you have, your farm balance, and also take some quick actions like harvest and rinse kind of on the same page. So kind of discussing where this fits into the hierarchy of the site. The hypothesis is that it should kind of be the first or second page. But yeah, look out for that improvement coming soon. And then kind of looking forward for the next week or so. So like Chad mentioned, hopefully getting that fall theme up and running. One thing that we've kind of been putting off for a little while that I think needs to be thought about is building a design system for like chaining transactions. So like harvest and deposit, rinse and deposit, some of those things. And then delineating maybe a little bit more strongly in the UI and having a stronger opinion on when the farm balance and when the circulating balance show. So yeah, going back and basically coming up with design systems for those this week.
Thank you, Sweet Red. All right. I wanted to just touch upon again us moving to the Barnyard channel, and that is that this DAO meeting is not for Beanstalk Farms or Beansprout. It is where Beanstalk Farms and Beansprout come in and take the opportunity to talk to the DAO members. However, this is for the DAO, it's for the stockholders, where you can discuss anything that you would like. So even if you don't have questions to the contributors and you would just like to discuss things in general, again, this is your chance and an opportunity here, including Publius. Publius, do you have anything in general in mind that you would like to share?
Yeah, I'm happy to talk a bit. Recently, I think it's become increasingly clear that there's a shared sentiment towards moving Beanstalk into a position where we have to perform a minimal amount of upgrades or governance votes at all at the base layer. And think if not something we want to be able to obtain in a matter of years, we need to start working on it now. And so really, trying to drill down on the basics of, kind of how do we take the protocol, modularize it into different components, which are fully customizable and built on top of each other. So, have sort of, allocating some effort towards, kind of the generalized pipeline solution, which, becomes at the base layer and up and, it kind of makes there no need to be any other pipelines. And that's kind of like from a perspective of Beanstalk never needs to be upgraded, creating solutions such that we can, basically allow you to call any smart contract through Beanstalk instead of having to vote to upgrade to add custom specific code for each protocol, gets us towards that vision. On the liquidity pool side, it becomes clear that we need, some generalized Oracle solution where, Beanstalk is somehow aggregating oracles that are, kind of sourced from a variety of different places, first off, one of them being wells, and then kind of piping that back into Beanstalk where necessary. When you convert an asset against a peg, you need to determine what the value of the other asset in the liquidity pool is in US dollars. And so in order to, kind of remove the need for pools to be whitelisted to convert, we kind of need to have a generalized Oracle solution such that Beanstalk can price whatever asset happens to be in the pool against dollars. And, kind of really trying to work on building out that underlying infrastructure such that we can remove, the convert whitelist entirely, make wells, have permissionless, you can pick any price invariant, not this price invariant that have been whitelisted and predefined. And, use oracles that can be, any contract, at all, and not just contracts that are, or logic that is whitelisted and defined. So, think, really taking some time to dig into things, and, things might be taking longer than we all want them to, but, think it's important to do it right the first time if we truly want to get Beanstalk towards, a place where the base layer is as close to finished as it can be.
Thank you, Publius, and definitely excited and looking forward to having these pipelines and oracles built and see them in action. Okay.
Maybe to talk a little bit about things that are more in the short term, there has been a lot of debate and discourse and discussion about the budget BIPs, particularly the Beanstalk Farms budget, although that might be to some extent because the Beansprout budget proposal was brought more recently. And just want to, as we echoed in class, want to reiterate that this discourse is all healthy. Not sure how many of the dissenting voices from the chats are here at the moment, but want to really just emphasize what Mod was saying, that this is an open forum where anyone that has a dissenting voice should feel comfortable to raise their dissenting opinions, and everyone should be able to, in a civil fashion, hear everyone out and try to engage. So this is not a. I think we're all trying to figure out the best way to do decentralized development and the best way to have accountability in a decentralized forum. So this is overall healthy. People could probably be a little bit more constructive in certain instances, but perhaps this is a good time if people have some opinions to voice them. Not to put anyone in particular on the spot.
I also have a small update to add or to share. Last week, we said that Chainalysis were meant to join us in this DAO meeting to present a proposal to track the stolen funds. We had told them what Lossless had told us is that there has not been any activity on the funds itself, and it seems like they maybe have looked into that and came back and said that they will continue to track it, and if there has been any changes or movement in the fund, then they will let us know. So far, it seems that the funds are still in Tornado Cash, and there hasn't been any update or any movement towards it. Nevertheless, still again encourage the DAO, to continue to think of other solutions or options or whatever it is, or any other means that they think the DAO in general would be productive for them to pursue on the stolen funds. But where we stand right now, it seems that there is not much to share or to pursue. With that, let's give it a few minutes again, or take some time. As Publius said, if you'd like to discuss maybe the budget or discuss anything else with regards to Beanstalk, feel free to do it now. Just unmute yourself and let's have this conversation. Some other thing maybe to be discussed is that we're planning a poker tournament sometime next month. Canadian Bennett and Dumpling are working on it. So also, any thoughts, preference, experience from the last one, feel free to also discuss it now if you want to, or bring it up now. Okay. With that, I think we can end this meeting. Let us know if you prefer this format. We will continue to have it at the Barnyard chat or the channel unless members feel otherwise. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next week.